Right, good morning. Welcome back to Intro to Statistics. We are going to be talking about regression equations today. So here we have some x's and some y's, and what they're going to ask us to do is to estimate, or it's going to actually ask us to calculate a regression equation here. Okay, so they want a line. We're going to assume a linear relationship between the two variables here. Okay, now have here, okay, so they want, why did they put this funny little hat? Okay, y hat equals, what they're asking us to do is to say something like an a plus bx. This is the estimated value, a predicted value, y. Okay, so we want to be a little bit clear about that. We want to say, make sure we're doing a prediction value. It's not the actual value, because you might have a scatter plot that says, well, no, the actual value is something else. Like, we are not interested in what the actual value is. We're trying to make a prediction. So we actually want to know what the y hat value is. Okay, so this guy is pronounced y hat. Okay. And then the same thing is like for algebra, okay? Except we use different letters. Okay. We use a plus bx. Okay. It depends on which book you have. Okay. A would be the y-intercept, and then b would be the slope. Okay, so if you are remembering, high school algebra, right, we get y equals mx plus b for our line. It's still gonna put a little hat in there to say prediction. The b and the m, they're the same thing. It's just the slope. Okay, when they ask you to interpret the slope, a lot of times they will ask you that in a problem. What I would recommend is, what are the units going on here? So if we're talking about like a miles per hour kind of a thing, I always find that it's one of the worksheets I would give to the face-to-face class. So they would have to do some kind of a distance over time. And in English, we have a speed for that. We have a name for that. It's called speed. Okay. Sometimes there will not be a name for that. That's okay. So if they're talking about crime rate per thousand people or whatever, number of crimes per thousand people, we just call it a rate and we let it go with that. Okay, so a lot of times if they ask you for the meaning, I would start with the units and then decide what the units are going to be, and then that's how we're going to do that. Okay, there are other books and other stats classes that would use y is equal to b0 plus b1x. Okay, that's where the b's come from. Some calculators use y equals ax plus b, keeping the y equals mx plus b idea here for me. So there's no regulated way of doing this, just because different books have different objectives. They have different goals eventually. Your high school book, like we look at y equals mx plus b. Okay, all of this, the way that, why they do this, they're just trying to make they really are just trying to make it easy for people, but because there's so many different ways of doing it, they actually have made it a bit of a mess. So for me, this is called job security. But realize, like, as long as you know what the context that you're talking about, what the letters mean, like whatever the slope is just the slope, right? In our books, it's y plus bx. In this case, b is the slope, m is the slope, a is the slope. Okay, it just depends on which book you're talking about, which context you're talking about. They just want the slope, they just want the intercept. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, as usual, okay, I don't like the fact that this class has often become a how to use your calculator class rather than how to do statistics. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to add these. We're just going to list these numbers in here, and we're just going to put in our x's. We're going to put in our y's. Okay, we're just going to see what happens here. So we have 3, 2, 1, 7, 4. And then on the other side, we have 6, 2, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4. Okay, we're just going to do that. Okay, we're going to go to stat tests. Okay, we're going to go to lin reg. Now we're doing linear regression. Now we're actually in the thick of it. Lin reg t-test. So we're going to learn what a couple more of these things are. And again, x, let that be list 1, y, let it be list 2. You can swap them, it's okay. we're not going to worry about what the correlation or what the test for rho, what the correlation coefficient test is going to be. We'll get to those. Okay, we're just going to calculate, and I just want the regression equation. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. Enter. Okay, and look, y equals a plus bx. So most calculators will tell you what's going on here. So if I'm going to go ahead and look at this piece here, okay, we want y equals, this is a plus bx in this case, y equals, saw it here just a moment ago, y equals a plus bx, a plus bx. So in our case, this is 4.64. I don't know how many decimals they want. Round to 4 decimal places. They want a lot of decimal places. So 4.64, we'll say 1.5 here, plus, and then we go down, let's use the down arrow, okay, to get our b. B is a negative, and again, we have 4 decimal places points. 1886, we're going to use 1, 2, 3, this decimal here, this 7 is going to change this to a 7, so 0.187, okay, and I'm just going to put the coefficient in parentheses so I can include the negative, and that way it'll just go. If you wanted to write this, and I don't really have a problem with this, okay, so if we wanted to write this as y equals mx plus b, because a lot of people, like, I learned a line once, I'm not learning it again. Like, okay, it's good to be able to express it in slightly different ways, but this is 0.1887x plus whatever, that's my b, okay, and then 4.6415. I don't really care which way you do it, I don't care which way you spell it. I'm going to go ahead and probably use the calculator for the most part because that's what I'm using as a tool. But it really doesn't matter as long as you can keep straight, like which one is the slope, which one is the intercept. That's really the only thing you have to worry about, okay? They're going to call them different letters, whatever, okay? That's fine. As long as you know which one is the slope, which one's the intercept, you'll know how to put this together, and you'll be able to deal with it in your own way, okay? So that's our regression equation. So we'll go ahead and type that in here. So we'll say this is, oh, I'm going to put this off to the side here. Nope, I don't want that. Just want here. This is what I want. Okay, I'm sorry. So we want, again, your bigger screen. Thank you. Okay, so let's move this over out of the way so I can actually use both of these at the same time. Okay, juggling of all of this. So we have this 4.6415, and then the minus sign, you can either say plus negative, I'm going to say minus, okay, 0.1887, okay, and that should do it for my, I don't like Alex for this reason too, like, it's hard sometimes to see what the bottom is to scroll up and down, so sometimes there's more options and you just don't get to see them. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but that's all they're asking us to do. Okay, so let's check and see. Fingers are crossed. And did we get a green dot? It looks like we did. So hooray. And then we'll move on with our lives. Okay, we'll continue. But I'll go ahead and make another video very shortly so we can continue doing this. But this is, remember the y hat, don't be afraid of this. It just means the predicted value, which means if I'm going to plug in an x, we're going to get a value out of here for y. That's the predicted value because we're using this line to predict things. Okay? And that's what we're doing with this. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.